Hi guys, welcome back. Guess what? I got my new computer. I wasn't expecting it today. They didn't tell me that it was in or anything. Well, this is how the story went. When I complained to my son-in-law that my computer wasn't working right, that the USB port wasn't good, and he came over and he gave me the choices. He suggested that I get a computer or I can get this part for the computer, but he's not going to guarantee it's going to work that well. Well, I had opted for the part because I didn't see anything wrong with my computer. It was like, well, it works on the programs I wanted to work on. Well, when he came over and he looked at it, he made up his mind I was getting a new computer, and I had no idea. So I called my daughter up. I was like, no, just get me the part. And she's like, well, Alex doesn't really want to do that. And I was like, no. He's like, no, he doesn't think that's the best idea. So she kind of axed that with me and said, no, get a new computer. So I said yes. But what I was worried about was that when, my programs, where are my files? I have thousands of files all jammed into this computer. Now, the computer was old, but it worked. So I wanted to keep all my pictures because I use them and I reference to them. Today they surprised me. I had spent all yesterday, I didn't do a video, and I spent yesterday deleting files and trying to organize them. And I was like, it's going to take me a month to do this. I mean, there's literally thousands and thousands. So they came over today and I was like, I'm not ready for the new computer. It was only a couple of days. And my son-in-law said, don't worry. I promise you this is going to be painless. We're going to switch everything over. And for Mother's Day, they bought me a new computer. And I was like, wow, So I was still very nervous. And he goes, I understand. And in addition to the computer, he got me this box thing. First of all, the computer is half the size, more than half the size. I would say it's a third of the size of my old computer box. So my desk feels really free and open now. And they got me this other little box that was like empty. And he took my old computer and he put the drive from my old computer with everything on it into this box. It's about that big, hooks it up. Not only do I have a brand new computer, but I can access everything on my old computer. We didn't have to change over any sort of anything. It was 1, 2, 3. It was so easy. And let me tell you, I didn't know how bad my computer was until I worked on this new computer. Like, if you blink, changes. I was like, a couple of times, it went so fast that I was like, what did the message just say? What? And I had to go back looking for it because it was just that fast. I can get used to this. I'm all set. I still have to figure out where things are completely because there are a couple things different. Oh, and in addition to the computer and the box, they also got me Photoshop 2020. I don't know how to use Photoshop, but he says he's going to show me, so I'm in a good mood tonight. I want to work on this flower today. When you look at it, it's a no big deal drawn flower. I love this flower. I love the symmetricalness of it. It's not real looking, but you could do a lot with it, and I just love the shape of it, and I know exactly what I want to do with it. For this, I've got 4 pencils. I've got lilac, violet, indigo blue, and I'm using my barrel, so if you don't recognize the pencil, it's barrel, and white. Okay, you can use a little bit of black in this, but we'll see. I may or may not. And we're going to start with the violet. Okay, this is a very simple flower to do. We're going to just do a simple fade all the way from dark indigo to white. So I'm going to begin just like that. And I'm going to make sure down here in the corners are very dark. Then I'm going to sort of not touch the sides. I want to work away from the sides, and I'm going to draw one side up. Remember, I don't want to touch these sides. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here on the next one. And I'm only bringing one side up. And then I'm going to turn the paper and do it again. Get all the way down into the recesses of this flower. I'm working on the same side. And just remember, keep the white very white. And then I'm going to turn and do it again. I'm going to do that going around the flower, but I'm going to finish the rest of it up in hyperlapse because it's just more of the same. Now that I've done around the outside, I'm going to do the same thing for the inside and then the next row. So they'll all kind of look like this. So now you have this sort of pinwheel effect going on. Nothing is blended up. You just have the wax down on the page. The next color, you can choose two different ways of doing this. You can go straight to the white, or you can add in a middle color. I'm choosing to add in a little bit of a middle color, and I'm using lilac. You don't need to. You can do this flower without that middle color because it's such a small amount of space. We're going to pull wax. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these little triangles, and you just want to put your middle color as a buffing color right along the inside edge. And that's just because I'm going to pull this wax over, and I want it to be a lighter tone than I'm pulling over. And you just get it in there. And you follow it completely around. Don't worry about blending it up. So now I have two colors on it. I've got the violet and I have lilac. My third color, I'm going to be using some indigo blue. Indigo blue is going to just go into the corners. Right like that. I'm not worried about blending. Don't even try to blend it all up right now. Just get your colors down on the page. Right like that. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and come back with the next step. But you get what I mean. Right into those corners. Get that dark wax in there. While I was gone, I also added a second coat of wax. So I've got really two of every color, and that's why it seems a little bit richer right now. Still have not done any blending, just added the two colors. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull from the lightest shade. Now you could have pulled all the way over and that would work. Not as good as using two, but it would have worked a little. I'm going to concentrate on this with little circles, and I'm working pretty hard. I'm going to blend this all up. And I'm pulling the wax over. You can see I'm working hard. My pencil is breaking. So I'm pulling it hard over. And I'm going to just go completely around. I'm working with a magnifying glass. I have something on order. These magnifying glasses that have a light on it. Working at night in my kitchen and where I don't have my lights set up is kind of hard to see. And you might say, well, why aren't you working in your craft room? Just because I spend a lot of time in there, and sometimes I need to get out of there. You know, I'm on the computer in there, I'm doing everything in one room, and you can get a little stir crazy. So if I'm going to sit and color, I want to color in a different room than my computer. You know, once we get over this coronavirus, then I'll go back to my old setup. Starting to get a little stir crazy here. I'm sure everyone is, and no different than anyone else. My middle daughter comes up to me today, and it makes me laugh because, you know that moment of time where your voice sounded just like your mother? And you had to do like a double take and go, whoa, where did that happen? My mother's voice just came out of my body. Usually when you become a parent. Well, today my daughter walks up to me. Now this has already happened to my older one. She sounds exactly like me. It's really funny because she doesn't have children yet, but she's got her goddaughters, and her goddaughters are with her a lot of the time now with the virus because they're not in school, and their mom's a single mom, and my daughter's best friend. So my daughter took this godmother business very seriously. I mean, you would just, if you were ever going to pick a godmother, my daughter is like the top godmother. She just took this whole job as serious as possible and is totally hands-on with the godchildren. I call them my godchildren too, because they're more like my grandchildren. I love them to pieces. So she takes this job really serious, and so she has them during the week. She doesn't even charge for babysitting. She babysits for free. It's funny because I've seen her with the girls, and she'll go, no, and she'll give that mommy, like that mommy, no, don't do it, and comes out of her mouth in the same tone as it used to come out of my mouth, and it cracked me up the first time I heard her do it. Well, now my middle daughter came up to me today. I have to laugh. She watches my YouTube channel. Hi, Nicole. Love you. Mommy loves you. And she walked up to me today. Now, I hadn't discussed the chicken situation. Now, if any of you guys know, I'm kind of thinking about getting some chickens. So I did not discuss it with anybody but my husband and my father. And my daughter walks up to me out of the blue and goes, puts her finger out and goes, no chickens. Like that. I was like, oh, you just did the mommy thing. You did the mommy no-no. And so I was laughing. I was like, you. And then my youngest one came down and she was like, what's up? What, she heard, us laughing or whatever. So she came in to get into part of it, and I looked at my daughter, who I swore my youngest daughter was going to be on my side because she's an animal lover, and I'm like, don't you want to get some chickens? And she looks straight at me and goes, no chickens. I'm kind of outvoted here. So I haven't given up. I have not given up. So I have a lot of blending to do on this. This doesn't start to develop yet. You gotta work on it. It's gonna take me a while. I'm gonna go off camera to do this, but you get my drift. Pull that wax where the white is into that white area as you were doing your blend, so your blend is kind of curving. and then we'll do the final steps on it. So let me get this blended up. It's going to take me about an hour. It takes time. This is slow. Okay, so now I have the right side all creamy and blended, and this side pretty hard, hard lined. Now what I want to do is I want to go back to my original violet color, which is the darker of the colors, not including the indigo. We're gonna darken up the indigo with some black. So that's why I said, like, you can use the indigo, you don't have to, but it is nice. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on the other side. So this is all creamy, this is hard. Now I'm gonna take this to the edge. Okay, and I'm going to work my way around. You know, you could see I'm leaving a tiny bit of white, teeny tiny bit. Not much. Because in some places I'm going to want a little bit of space open. So I'm going to do this off camera and I'll be right back. So the center I filled in with the violet, and now I'm going to just go along the straight edge going down, because you really can't curve it that much. And I'm going to add in a little bit of black. There's not much room. And then with the white, I'm going to do this middle area. I'm going to pull the wax, and then let's get a little bit of the blue in there. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a drop of Posca into the areas where I left it white to really brighten it up. No hard lines. I'm just picking the brightest area and just tapping down a little bit, tiny bit of the Posca. And I will come back with the final picture, and I will see you in a minute. Okay, the only thing I have left to do on it is final details, which I will do at the end, and that includes shadowing it. So I don't want to do that until I get the whole picture done, because I started doing it, you could see in here, and I still have to work on that. So once I get it finished, do my final bits on it, it'll be more up on the page. So the final thing with this Posca is you want to blend it in, but you really got to wait for it to dry a little bit more, so that it looks a little bit more natural and not that much lines. You know, Posca you can color over and soften. So, I will see you guys in my next video. I love you. Stay safe. And above all, stay in. Take care.